was a very rocky course from day one.
Sitting in the ICU, seeing them on respirators, barely breathing, with the doctors telling us, you know, we hope they'll make it. It was a total life changer.
They've required many services here at the Cleveland Clinic, multiple inpatient visits.
I've had a surgeon tell me you have an hour, get him into the operating room. That really brings out a certain feeling of helplessness.
It's a very difficult situation. You just can't do it all on your own.
You're sitting there in the ICU and watching your child on respirators and watching, you know, the numbers go up and down on the thing and really not knowing, are we gonna ever get out of here? That feeling is miserable. It's the only way I can say it. It's terrifying to be in that situation.
We originally started off in New York, in NYU, and the doctor told us that the availabilities are much more limited. So he advised us to try someplace else. He said that I should figure on a place that I would be comfortable living there for 10 months.
This process for him was, and the family was, very difficult and laden with all sorts of uncertainty. The uncertainty of what really was going on, the uncertainty of whether he'd ever get a liver.
My lungs getting blocked and the air couldn't go in properly.
At certain points, it sounded like he just didn't know what the end will be.
I was told it's no refuah, there's no way to cure it.
Mr. White started off in England, and he was turned down for being of overage to be a candidate. He wasn't a candidate for a lung. He came then to America, and between being in New York and North Carolina for about a year, until we finally came to Cleveland, and there in New York and North Carolina, they also had reasons why they said he was not a candidate for a lung, and he came with big hopes over here to Cleveland.
Kayla has MS, and she's paralyzed from the waist down. Her body doesn't work for her.
It can be devastating for families because it's such a major change in how they function.
For a person like that was accustomed to being so active and so giving, it's something which, even though she has a tremendous spirit, it must be extremely difficult.
It's a moment of crisis for patients and for family members.
Illness could be very stressful financially as well as emotionally.
All of a sudden, all those things that you take for granted, all the activity, comes to a screeching halt.
You want your kids to continue living regular lives. And you want to be able to continue living a regular life because I have responsibilities at work. And so the major challenge is, how do you balance that with the fact that you have to take care of somebody who is not well?
The medical experience is so draining.
I don't know if people understand what it means to be sitting in an ICU for days on end, where you don't see people.
You're vulnerable.
You're very frightened that this person might not make it.
When it's your own child, you can't think about anything else.
Part of dealing with that when you're in your hometown, you have the support system of your friends and families and shul, but when you're all the way in Cleveland in a different city, in a different state, you lose all that.
It's terrible. I mean, we live in an uncertain world, but this is an uncertain world to the nth degree. You don't know if you're going to be a candidate. You don't know if you're going to make it onto the list. Once you're on the list, you don't know if you're going to get a liver. Once you may get a liver, you don't know if you're going to survive. You don't know how long you're going to have to be here. You're not 100% sure if the insurance is going to cover everything. You don't know how it's going to affect the rest of your life or your family's life.
People mom starve. People don't have anything. They don't go to shul. They don't see people there. They're totally disconnected from anything.
You stand there and you don't even know what to do. And that Bikur Cholim just gives you that ray of light.
What you need are organizations and people that use empathy, that turn that uncertainty into hope.
Sympathy means that you see someone in a troublesome situation, you say, you know, I feel bad and I'm going to do something for them. Empathy is you put yourself into their shoes. You say, what does this person or family need? And that's what I'll provide. And that's what Bikur Cholim does.
They take care of the family so that the family should be able to take care of the patient.
Suddenly they have this home that's really open arms, that's, you know, an environment that's familiar to them.
It's sort of like five-star hotel service.
Whether they come with just a small family, whether they come with more, you know, as far as the meals, as far as the rides, as far as all the details in the hospital being taken care of.
To have some of the comforts of home living is certainly far superior than, you know, living in a hotel, having to forage for to supermarket.
I know that the Rubens would not have been able to pick up and move to Cleveland for the amount of time that they did were it not for the Bikur Cholim.
Actually, in the hospital, I think Bikur Cholim even hung up pictures from all the kids in the ICU on his room. They should feel that, you know, he's still with his kids.
They look after us for the food, for to stay here, and no pressure for nothing, and take us to hospital when we need.
Just the idea that you have the help from the community while you're in the hospital.
To have a room that people can come and daven and learn and have a respite. It's sort of like an oasis in the middle of a desert.
I've probably seen 30, 40 Bikur Cholim rooms in my life. I've never seen one that was as perfect as this.
You don't feel like, you know, they're doing everything just to have exactly enough food in this. They have more than I have in my own kitchen.
We've had patients from Mexico, from South America, who gravitate to the room.
Whether it's someone coming down at 2 o'clock in the morning to get food after a new baby is born, someone coming who is helping bring a friend or family member for a procedure or surgery, and then it's also there for people dealing with end-of-life issues. It's there all the time for everyone who needs it.
My daughter had acute appendicitis at Erev Shabbos, and my wife had to spend Shabbos with her in the hospital, and had it not been for the Bikur Cholim room, I don't know what she would have done.
You never know who you're going to meet in the Bikur Cholim rooms.
There are other people who are going through different issues, but have their own sets of uncertainties and hope, and they help each other.
You can let out your feelings, you can just talk to another human being.
For whoever's in a hospital room where there must be no sense of Shabbos, to be able to go into the Bikur Cholim room and say, it's not a Monday, it's Shabbos, I'm sure provides a lot of comfort for people also.
One patient told me that his family members now make a bracha, others say they bench, others say they daven.
Over the years, it's been wonderful just to have a private place to be able to go and daven.
If we have a patient flying from Akron, Ohio, there's no question that somebody's going down to Akron, Ohio and picking them up.
They brought my mother-in-law clothing, different robes and different sizes and, you know, complete bags of clothes just that she should have if she needs.
Whenever on a Shabbos my daughter was in the hospital and my wife was with her, 8:30 a.m. sharp, a girl from Yavna High School or a seminary student would knock on the door to babysit, and when I come back, there was a different girl typically, and the children were awakened and dressed and fed breakfast, and it was such a big help.
The Bikur Cholim house is incredible.
They took us to a house and they said, this is available for you. You can stay as long as you want. I said, how much is the rent? And she said, it's no problem.
The entire house is designed in a way that is sensitive to the needs of a handicapped person in a wheelchair. It's not an institution, it's a home.
They brought us fresh meals constantly. It was just, we couldn't believe it.
We also have sometimes the zchus of bringing the first grade boys to the Bikur Cholim house to sing and to be marakechola, the people there. And it's a great experience because the kids themselves see this is what Chesed's all about.
The volunteers have been amazing. They've come in, they try to help, they always want to know how we're doing, always a smile.
The people are so happy to participate. They come with a smile. They act as if they have all the time in the world to sit with the patients.
It's such an easy way to make someone happy.
It's tremendously rewarding for me, both as an individual and also as a retired physician, to be able to help out in this way.
I just like helping people, and I need some credit with the guy upstairs, so I'm figuring the more I deliver meals to sick people, the less I'll be sick.
It's not just a meal delivery, but it's someone that's interested in their well-being and to show them that there is a caring part of the community.
It's comforting to know that somebody cares about you. When you're very vulnerable, that somebody should care about you. That's really important.
People visited. They wanted to be part of our yoke that we carry, and that was wonderful. And they did it in a way without embarrassing. It was beautiful.
You're enabling a source of life, and the good that it did for me is unbelievable.
Soror Shapiro and her crew do a tremendous job. It's always a pleasure to work with them.
For me, it was a great surprise. I wish I would have known about it before.
They provide a level of comfort for the Jewish community that's unparalleled.
When I recognize there's a problem, I know who to call.
Bikur Cholim is much more famous than I am, so they know about that way before they know about me.
How can you thank someone who's done so much for you? You don't know where to start.
We were there for about 3 weeks. Every day, every moment, we knew that we have you at our sides. I'm extremely appreciative.
A great Hakaras Tov to Rebbe Shapiro and to the whole organization for all that they've done for our family.
Bikur Cholim is sort of that other set of parents to make sure that we're taken care of and we have our meals and we have anything that we might possibly need while one of our children is in the hospital.
It's part of the community where everybody can be involved. That I've never seen before.
It's a game changer. Bikur Cholim allows us to live as normal a life as we can in a very, very difficult situation.
I was mispalel should be able to come to be here in Cleveland because the situation here, for me and for my family, gives me a big chizuk that they are not by myself. Being here is a halve refuah.
Tzipora was sick for over 2 years. It's been about 4 months since she passed away. Bikur Cholim has been there the whole time for us. It just wasn't there the first week that Tzipora was in the hospital. It's become part of our lives.
To have an organization like this that's so caring is just so remarkable.